Hello, I am Dr. William Harris. As an orthopedic surgeon who has spent more than 35 years inside operating rooms and rehabilitation units from the United States, the United Kingdom to Germany, I have witnessed the human body in every possible state, from damage, collapse, all the way to healing and powerful recovery. Do you know, we are living in a world where from tech CEOs to online health trends, everyone repeats the same pre-programmed message. Just walk. That is enough. After 70, just move gently. But when you truly understand anatomy the way I do, you are forced to ask the uncomfortable questions that those step-counting apps will never dare to answer. Ask yourself, how can walking rebuild muscle mass that has already withered over time? How can walking restore balance when the stabilizing core fibers have never been activated? How can walking make your bones stronger when there is no load, no tension, and no resistance? And most importantly, how can walking save you from a fall when your fast twitch reflexes, the only thing that keeps you upright when you slip, are never trained? Biomechanically, that is impossible. It does not match what I see on the operating table, and it certainly does not match the harsh reality my patients face. Because I refuse to accept that superficial thinking, I decided to search for the truth in the hardest way. We did not guess. We reviewed hundreds of medical papers, studied rehabilitation programs across 9 different countries. We tested 297 exercises, including 144 ancient exercises from Japan, where aging is considered an art of mastery rather than something to fear. And the result? Most exercises helped only a little. Some failed completely. But 5 exercises, exactly 5, produced something modern medicine rarely dares to promise: noticeable, measurable, and repeatable muscle restoration even after the age of 75. That is exactly what I will reveal in this video. 5 exercises you must do instead of just walking. And I want you to commit to watching until the very end, because exercise number 1 is the golden key. It can reactivate your balance control nervous system faster than any surgical procedure I have ever performed. Before we begin, I have a small question for you. How old are you as you are watching this video? Comment your age below. My team and I will read and respond to every person. And now, let us begin the journey to reclaim your strength with exercise number 5. This is a movement that I am willing to bet almost none of you are doing daily, but it holds the key to awakening a hidden sense that normal walking can never reach. This is the heel-to-toe walk, also known as walking on a line. At first glance, it looks simple, like a children's game, but the science behind it is extremely serious. We need to talk about something called proprioception. Simply put, this is your body's internal GPS system. It tells your brain exactly where your feet are in space without you needing to look down. The dangerous problem is that after age 75, this GPS system starts losing signal. A large study from the University of Pittsburgh found that proprioception accuracy drops by up to 25% between ages 65 and 80. That is why you start feeling unsteady when walking on thick carpets or when you misstep on uneven curbs. Normal walking cannot fix this because your feet are too far apart, creating a wide base that makes the brain lazy. But this heel-to-toe walk forces the brain to recalibrate the GPS immediately, because you are walking on a narrow, straight line, with your heel touching the toes of the opposite foot. To perform it, my safety rule number 1 is this: stand next to a wall or a kitchen counter. I want you to have something to grab instantly if needed. Do not try to be a hero, be a smart person. Stand tall, open your shoulders, pick a fixed point in front of you to look at, and do not look down at your feet. Then take very slow steps, placing one foot directly in front of the other so that the heel of the front foot lightly touches the big toe of the back foot. The goal here is not speed, but accuracy. When you narrow your base like this, The nervous system is forced to work twice as hard to maintain balance. Do about 20 steps like this, twice a day. What results can you expect? The Archives of Physical Medicine reported that older adults who practiced this exercise for only 8 weeks improved their dynamic balance scores by up to 19%. This means you can confidently move through a crowded grocery store without fear of bumping into someone, or walk on uneven sidewalks without needing to stare down at the ground. Walking helps you move. This exercise helps you move accurately. And now that you have reactivated your internal navigation system, let us move on to a bigger issue that most people ignore until it is too late in exercise number 4. My dear friends, if exercise number 5 helps you move accurately, then exercise number 4 will determine whether you can continue living independently in your beloved home or not. This is the exercise. Standing up from a chair. I know what you are thinking. Dr. Harris, I sit down and stand up all day. What is the big deal? Why do I need to practice this? But please do not misunderstand. The ability to stand up from a seated position without using your hands for support is one of the strongest medical indicators for predicting lifespan and independence. A famous study published in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology discovered that people who struggle with this simple movement have a 5 to 6 times higher risk of health decline and mortality compared to others of the same age. Why is it so important? Because after age 75, the quadriceps and glutes, the main engines that help you conquer gravity, begin to shrink at an alarming rate. This process is called age-related muscle loss. When these muscle groups weaken, you not only have difficulty standing up, but you are gradually approaching the day when you will need someone to help you get out of a car, or worse, to assist you in the bathroom. That is what we must prevent starting today. The way to perform this exercise is very simple, but it requires correct technique. Choose a sturdy chair. Do not use a soft, sinking sofa. Sit down, place both feet flat on the floor, shoulder width apart. Our golden goal is to cross both arms in front of your chest and stand up completely using only the strength of your legs. But here is the secret that few trainers will ever tell you. The real magic does not happen when you stand up. It happens when you sit down. Absolutely do not drop your body onto the chair like a sack of sand. I want you to lower yourself very slowly, counting from 1 to 4. Controlling every millimeter, and fighting against gravity until your hips just lightly touch the chair. It is that slow, controlled descent, when the muscle fibers are torn and rebuilt, the strongest, twice as fast as walking all day. Set a goal of performing 10 repetitions and do 3 sets each day. If today you still need to use your hands to stand up, that is perfectly okay. But try to use less arm strength tomorrow. Remember, this exercise is not only to make your legs stronger, but to protect your dignity and your independence for the next 10 years. And now, take a deep breath, because we will move on to exercise number 3, the exercise that tackles the hidden enemy behind hip fractures that walking completely fails to address. Before moving on to exercise number 3, we must face a mechanical truth that walking completely ignores. Walking is a straight movement. You only move your legs forward and backward. But life is multi-directional, and the most dangerous falls often happen when we lose balance sideways. Imagine your hip joint as the hinge of a door. After 70 years of use, that hinge begins to rust and stiffen. A study from the University of Maryland found that weakness in the lateral hip muscles, the muscles that help you step sideways, is a stronger predictor of falls than whether your legs are strong or weak. When you slip, if your hip is stiff, the body cannot perform the emergency sideways adjustment needed to regain balance, and that is when the disaster of a hip fracture occurs. Therefore, our exercise number 3 is standing hip circles. This is how we lubricate that rusty hinge. To perform it, continue standing next to a wall or chair for safety. I want you to lift one knee up toward your chest, then slowly open it outward, as if you are swinging a door wide open. Then move it backward and lower it down. You are drawing a large circle in the air with your knee. Do 5 circles clockwise and 5 circles counterclockwise for each leg. The secret here is speed. If you do it fast, you are only using momentum. But if you do it slowly, very slowly, you are forcing the smallest stabilizing muscles deep inside the hip joint to wake up and work. You will feel a bit of fatigue, even a bit of heat on the side of the hip, and that is an excellent sign. It shows that the muscles are being reinforced. Do this hip circle exercise every morning when your joints are still stiff and once again before going to bed. Your hips will thank you, and more importantly, they will be ready to catch you when something unexpected happens. We now move to exercise number 2, and this is perhaps the most counterintuitive advice you will hear today. We are going to build rock-solid muscular strength without moving a single millimeter. I know many of you watching this video are dealing with lingering pain from arthritis in the shoulders, knees, or lower back. The idea of lifting weights or doing repetitive bending and extending movements frightens you, and I completely understand that. That is why this exercise number 2 is a lifesaver. We call it isometric training. Instead of moving a heavy object up and down and grinding your aging joints, you will create force by pushing against an immovable object. This is exactly the method astronauts use to maintain muscle in space, and it is extremely safe for your joints. The specific exercise here is isometric wall push. A groundbreaking study in the Journal of Applied Physiology found that isometric training increases muscular force output by up to 35% in older adults, far more effective than traditional weightlifting. Why is this important? Because when you trip, you do not need strength to lift an object. You need the ability to instantly brace your entire body to stay upright. That is the kind of strength this exercise provides. To perform it, stand facing a blank wall about 1 arm's length away. Place both palms flat on the wall at shoulder height. Now push. Push as hard as if you were trying to move the entire house forward. Keep your body straight from head to heels. You will feel your chest, shoulders, core, and even your legs vibrating from the effort. But here is the golden rule. You must not hold your breath. Holding your breath increases blood pressure. I want you to breathe steadily and deeply while maintaining that push for 10 to 15 seconds. Then relax. Repeat 3 times. This exercise turns your body into one unified, solid, responsive structure. It is safe, joint-friendly, and astonishingly effective. And now, we have truly reached the destination, the moment of truth. Exercise number 1. The exercise I have said from the beginning is the gold standard of healthy aging. If you can remember only one thing from this video, make sure it is what I am about to say next. Exercise number 1. This is the king of balance, and the most important exercise that anyone over 70 must master if they want to live long and live well. That exercise is standing on one leg. It sounds so simple that it almost feels trivial, right? But do not judge it too quickly. A shocking study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, tracking thousands of people for more than a decade, delivered a chilling conclusion. Middle-aged and older adults who could not stand on one leg for 10 seconds had up to an 84% higher risk of death from all causes in the following years. That number does not lie. Why is this exercise such a life or death indicator? Because standing on one leg requires perfect coordination between the brain, vision, the vestibular system, and the strength of the entire spinal erector muscle group. But here is the most practical reason I want you to carve into your memory. Walking by nature is simply a sequence of standing on one leg over and over again. Every time you lift your right foot to take a step, your entire body weight shifts onto your left leg. If that supporting leg is weak, or if your brain cannot process the one leg stance correctly, then every single step you take is a gamble with death. I have seen far too many patients who can walk miles, yet fall and break a bone just from losing balance while reaching for a bowl on a kitchen shelf. So we must train it right now. Stand next to a sink or the back of a chair. Lift one foot off the ground, just a few centimeters. It does not need to be high. Eyes straight ahead, back straight, and try to maintain your balance. Our goal is 30 seconds for each leg. If at first you feel intense shaking, do not worry. That is your brain relearning how to control the movement. Lightly touch the support point if needed. And here is my little tip for patients. Do not look for a separate time slot to practice it. Turn it into a brushing teeth habit. Every morning and evening, while you brush your teeth, stand on one leg. 2 minutes of brushing each day becomes the 2 most life-saving training minutes you have, so now you have the complete map in your hands. 5 exercises, 5 missing pieces that daily walking could never fill. Spatial awareness, the strength to stand up and sit down, hip mobility, isometric endurance, and the ability to balance on one leg. I want to leave you with this message. You may be thinking, I am too old to start. But the science of neuroplasticity has proven that whether you are 60, 70, or even 90 years old, your body and your brain still have an extraordinary ability to learn and adapt. You do not grow old because you fall. You fall because you stopped performing these complex movements. The good news is, you do not need to spend hours in a gym or buy expensive equipment. 15 minutes a day, right in your kitchen, living room, or while brushing your teeth, is all you need to rewrite the script of your old age. Your future self will be grateful for every second you invest in these movements today. Take care of this body, because it is the only place you have to live for the rest of your life. Now do not turn off the video yet. Knowledge without action is just empty theory. I want you to commit to me right now. Among the 5 exercises I have just shared, which one will you start doing today? Number 1, number 3, or number 5? Leave a comment below. I promise I will read and send a heart for your determination. And wait. Building muscle is not enough if you are unintentionally consuming things that destroy your bones every day. There are 3 extremely common foods in American refrigerators that silently pull calcium from your bones faster than you can train. You need to know what they are so you can stay away from them. I will talk about them in the next video. See you there. Thank you, and may you walk strong.